Well, here it is, and once again, it's time to go Inside EMS. I am your host, Chris Cebollero, flying solo today, as Kelly Grayson is on special assignment, and he'll be back with us next week. So I figured for this show, one of the things that I wanted to focus on is we know 2023, it's in full swing right now. New Year's resolutions, everybody has them, maybe you don't, but they're in full swing, or maybe they've even fallen by the wayside right now. We know that usually it's the 17th or 18th day of the new year that people kind of fall off on their New Year's resolutions. Well, as a lot of you may know, that I do a lot of work outside of EMS in the leadership development and the organizational process improvement world. I have several coaching clients that I'm working with in the new year that hire me to help guide them and get them to from point A to point B in their professional development. And I've been having calls with them on a weekly basis to kind of keep them online. And since I'm flying solo today, I thought it would be good to kind of share some of the teachings that I'm doing with them to kind of help you and guide you in what your 2023 goals should look like. And goals really kind of need to be in the forefront of everything that we do. And I'm going to share with you 5 golden rules of how to getting this new year off to the greatest start possible. And I think first thing that I want to give you is you owe this to yourself. This is a gift for you. We all talk about EMS, and is EMS a career field, and is EMS a stepping stone, and how do I get from point A to point B? Well, I have to tell you this. If you want to develop in your career, you're the one that has to make this a responsibility. You're the one that has to take this bull by the horns. You're the one that has to set up the process of creating opportunity for you to be successful and for you to get to where you want to be in your career. No one is going to take more of an active role in your professional development than you are. And you have to be able to have that mindset. You've got to be able to say, this is what I want to achieve in the new year. This is what I want to get to in the new year. I want to be able to get a new job. I want to be able to get that promotion. I want to be able to get into school. It just doesn't have to be professional in the sense of career. It has to be in developing your skills and developing your knowledge and developing your abilities to make yourselves more marketable, to get yourself to the next phase of where you want to, go in your career. And I gotta tell you, man, we gotta remember that this journey of life isn't easy, right? We must have a blueprint to develop our success of what this is going to look like in the new year for us. Opportunity doesn't happen by chance. We're not sitting at home on the couch with our feet up on the coffee table and our favorite beer, in our lap, and we're waiting for opportunity to say, hey, Chris, I'm here, opportunity, let's go ahead and go. We've got to be the ones that are spearheading our success, that are spearheading the next big thing that we want. One of the things that I share with the coaching clients all the time is to get something you've never gotten. You've got to do something you've never done. Right? Because the same everyday habits that we have, maybe you wake up the same time every day. Maybe you take the same drive to work every day. Maybe when you're in the shower, you dry the same body part first every time. We have dinner at the same time. We have lunch about the same time. So these are the habits that we have. We've got to be able to break the cycle now to say, how do we get to the next phase of where we want to be? Well, that may be creating new habits. So today, I want to share with you the 5 golden rules for getting this new year off to a great start. Well, Chris, it's already the 21st of the month. What are you telling me? It's not too late. This is the time really to kind of figure it out. How many times have you said at the end of the new year, I'm going to do something different this year. I hope that the next year is better for me. I hope that I could do something better in my career this year. Well, I got to tell you what, man, hope isn't a strategy. And if you're not doing something specific to make that happen, then what's happening is days are turning to weeks, and weeks are turning to months, and then months are turning to years. Instead of saying, oh my God, it's already August and September, where has the year gone? And now, instead of doing what we need to do to be successful, we're allowing the year to live us instead of us living the year. And that's the setup, right? That's where we have to be. And I'm going to give you 5 golden rules today that's really going to kind of take you along this path. Now, one of the things that I want to encourage you is this. If you follow these 5 rules, you will now start to tick away the goals that you want to be able to achieve. I mean, think about it. We're in January right now. We've got 11 more months until we get to the end of the year. What do you hope for yourself? Where do you want to be in the end of the year? What would you have wanted to achieve? If we're going to go ahead and do a video of our life at the end of the year, what do we hope it looks like? And again, hope isn't a strategy, but this is where the vision comes in. We need to be able to ensure that we have a good vision for our success, right? So when we think about it, what does that vision look like? And we need this vision. This is a very big, important component to the success of what we need to do over the next year. It's all about vision. If I ask you to think about a car, if I ask you to think about a boat, you don't see the letters B-O-A-T. You picture a boat. And in the absence of a vision of where you're going, you're not going to know where you're going to be, right? You're not going to know when you get there. So think about this from that standpoint of where a vision is going to be in your life. But even before we get to the vision, right? Or even before you develop a vision, we have to stop the process of sabotaging our own success, right? So I want you to think about that. We start to think about, oh my gosh, do I need to start taking on more responsibility? What about my work-life balance? I need to make more money. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, these are things that are serious, right? And these are things that keep us. These are the excuses that we put in our way when things don't go right. I got to tell you what, man, a lot of times too, we'll go ahead and set a goal, and when the goal doesn't work because we procrastinate, we come up with these excuses and we blame everybody else but ourselves for the success or the lack of success that we're not achieving. And when we look at them, I mean, look at the screen, right? I mean, these are some of the things that we're constantly worrying about. What about getting promoted? What about getting that certification? You know what? I need to be more organized. You know what? Let's take the journey and let's not worry about where we need to be, or let's worry about where we're going, right? And this is what's really important, and this is really where we need to get to. So stopping the negative self-talk that's in our head is something that we have to be able to be, responsible for. And it's hard, man. If we could figure out where this person is that's in our head, we do a drive-by, we take them out. But you know what? We know where they are. This is in our subconscious mind. So our subconscious mind is telling us what we've programmed it to tell us. I'm never going to be successful. I'm never going to be rich. I'm never going to get the job that I want. You know what? Stop saying the never. And instead, what you need to do is start challenging those negative thoughts. But here's number one. Number one in the 5 golden rules is you need to set a resolution that motivates you. When you set a goal, that goal has to be based in desire. If you're not reaching your goal, it doesn't mean that your goal is bad. It just means that you don't believe that goal. It just says you're not bought into that goal. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever wanted something so bad? If you ever wanted to achieve something so bad, maybe it was going to EMT school, maybe it was going to paramedic school, maybe it was getting your degree, but what's the one thing that no one was going to get in your way because you were going to achieve that goal? That's because the goal was good, that's because you had good desire, and that's because that desire was burning so strong in you that no one was going to challenge that. No one was going to get in your way, and whoever got in your way, you were going to steamroll over. This is what a desirable goal is all about. So when you develop a goal and that goal isn't coming to fruition, it's that you don't believe in that goal. And you've got to be able to find that desire that keeps you on that path, that keeps you successful, that keeps you moving towards that positive end of reaching the goal. One of the things that I want to give you is this. When you're on track or when you're on a journey to try to reach a goal, it's not the journey, it's not the reaching of the goal that the growth happens, right? Reaching the goal is the extra gravy. It's the journey you take in reaching the goal to where the growth happens. That's where you learn. That's where you polish. That's where you have to fix. That's where the hurdles are. That's where the speed bumps are. And usually what happens is while we're on the path of reaching the goal, these hurdles get in the way and these speed bumps get in the way. And, people will tell us we're not going to be successful. And then maybe we start to believe it and then we become derailed. What you have to remember is the journey to reaching the goal is where your growth happens. And then when you reach the goal, that's the extra gravy. So you've got to be able to ensure, number one, that you have a goal, that you have a resolution that will motivate you. And then you need to be able to write that motivating value statement. In the year 2023, I am going to finally get that supervisor job that's going to help me get promoted, that's going to bring me more money, that's going to give me the opportunity to be successful. Okay, now that we have that goal, how do we set this up and how do we make it more successful? And this is where the SMART goals come in. Number 2 on our 5 golden rules is just because you have a vision, you've got to be able to create a goal that's going to make that vision a reality. You see it there on the screen. SMART, S-M-A-R-T, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and then a timeline. At the end of it, this is where it needs to be. A goal is a dream with a deadline, and you've got to be able to make sure that you're putting that timeline to that. But specifically, I want to talk about my friend. My friend lost 450 pounds, and I asked him, how'd you lose 450 pounds? He goes, I didn't. He goes, I lost 60. Then I lost 47. Then I lost 20. Then I lost 19. And at the end of his 1.5 or 2-year journey, whichever it was, the end result was 450 pounds. But when he wrote his goal, his specific goal wasn't, I want to lose weight. His specific goal was, I want to lose 450 pounds. Well, is that specific? You're darn tootin' it is. And then it's measurable. I weigh this much right now. I want to weigh this much, when it's over. Can he attain it? Is it attainable? Well, he did it, right? Oh my gosh, did he do it? And this guy's a great motivation and a great inspiration. And it was something that was realistic for him. His timeline was off a little bit. He thought he was going to be able to lose 400 pounds in a year, right? He wanted to be able to lose a little bit more than a pound a day. Oh my gosh. Well, it took him more like 18 months, 19 months, whatever it was, right? But one of the things that I want to give you is it didn't derail him from trying to get to the end of where he wanted to be. He stayed on track. He stayed true to his goals. Here was another thing that he did for himself is he gave himself these milestones, right? I lost 67. I lost 49. I lost whatever it was. And then at the end of that time, he rewarded himself. He had, there was one goal he was telling me, whatever the number was. At the end of it, he had a pizza. He had 2 cheeseburgers, and he had Dairy Queen. A Dairy Queen Oreo Blizzard was his thing, right? But every time that he reached a milestone, he rewarded himself. You know what? What is it? He lost 67 pounds, but you know what? He ate a whole pizza. He had 2 cheeseburgers. He had a large Blizzard from whatever. What did he gain? Another 2 pounds back? You know what? So what? Because as soon as he was done with it that day, he started back in the process, and he was moving towards the results that he wanted to attain. So use the vision, number 1, and then use SMART to develop the specifics of what that vision needs to look like, what that goal needs to look like. All right, next, number 3. And this is something that's really important. Remember earlier I talked about that we have programmed our subconscious mind to tell us what it's telling us. So the negative self-talk that we hear in our head is coming from our own subconscious mind based on what we've told it to tell us. Because we say the things that we shouldn't say, right? I'm never going to be rich. I'm never going to be successful. I'm never going to quit smoking. I'm a bad spouse. I'm a bad boyfriend. I'm a bad, whatever it is, right? And the more that we say it, the more that we believe it. Our subconscious mind doesn't know what it's doing for us is hurting us, right? It's only doing what we've programmed it to do. So one of the things that I want you to do is once you have this vision statement that we talked about, and then once you have the goal, is I want you to write it down. I want you to be able to put it into writing. And here's something that's very important. I want you to read it every morning before you get out of bed. And I want you to read it every night before you go to sleep. And I want you to believe in your heart that this is something that you will attain, right? It may sound stupid, right? But here's the reason. We are reprogramming reprogramming our subconscious mind. This vision statement doesn't have to be just one goal, right? It doesn't have to be one resolution. It could be as many as we want it to be, but we have to believe in our heart of hearts that we are going to make this happen. This is where the reprogramming our subconscious mind comes in. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to me or if you're taking notes, write this down. This is the major component to the success of what you're trying to do. This is the major component of what will make this goal successful, is the belief that you can do it. I mean, if you don't believe you can do it, who else is going to believe you can do it? Who out there is telling you you're not good enough to? Who out there is telling you you'll never achieve? Who out there is telling you that you're never going to be successful? I hope there's nobody in your life that's doing that to you. But you know what? You are the only one that can make it happen. You are the only one that could fail in this process, right? Because you're the only one that can control it. Nobody has the ability to make you feel what you choose not to feel. Nobody can make you feel that you're a failure. No one can make you feel that you're not successful. No one can make you feel you're not going to achieve your goals. Well, the one person that can make you feel that is you. You've got to be able to believe in yourself. You've got to have positive self-confidence. You got to have good self-esteem. And you know what? You have a gift. You have something that you can share with people that if you don't share it with them, you do them a disservice. But that's a whole other lecture. That's a whole other class. Let's go ahead and get back to this. Number 4 was you need to make an action plan. And you know what? This action plan is the missing component to reaching a goal. So we set a goal. We got a vision. I want to lose weight. I want to make more money. I want to get a different job. I wanna. There's the vision. And then the goal is I want to lose 450 pounds. I want to get a different job. I want to do whatever it is you want to do. But the missing component is to make an action. How are you going to make that happen? How are you going to lose 450 pounds? How are you going to get that supervisor job from the truck? How are you going to get that vice president job from a director's position? How are you going to run your EMS system, your dream EMS system? How do you make that happen? This is where you have to develop the process of making the goal a reality, right? We got a vision. We want to be a vice president. We want to be a supervisor. We want to graduate college. We want to be a paramedic. Whatever that is, there's the goal. What's the process to make that goal happen? This, ladies and gentlemen, is the missing component when it comes to reaching your goals. You've got to have a step-by-step plan. How do I become a vice president? How do I become an EMS chief? How do I reach my college goals? And you've got to write down, okay, the first thing I need to do is this. The second thing I need to do is this. The third thing I need to do is this. But here, let me caution you. Sometimes number 2 isn't happening fast enough. Sometimes number 3 didn't go the way we thought it would. And now it derails our plan. Ladies and gentlemen, just because you have a plan of 1, 2, and 3, you've got to know that something may happen between 3 and 4 that could totally blow this process out of the water. Remember, it's the journey you take in reaching the goal where the growth happens. Let those things get in your way. Let those things derail you. Let those things, happen as they happen, and learn from them. Experience them and learn from them. One of the things that you've got to be able to know is that you can get through it. We're EMTs and paramedics. Our critical thinking skills are at the top of the food scale. I have seen paramedics and EMTs use their critical thinking skills to achieve things that were amazing and treat people better than what they were. I'm going to stick this quote in here. And actually, this quote is something that's really important, and it comes from Denzel Washington, believe it or not, and I just love it. Every situation is temporary. So when life is good, make sure that you enjoy it and take it in fully. But remember this, when life is not good, remember that it's not going to last forever and that there are better days that are on the way. But we control this from an opportunity standpoint. But when you develop this process, and this process isn't going the way that it should, don't let it derail this, don't let it derail what happens, I'm in the middle. I'm starting my goals as well. I've got goals where I want to achieve in 2023 that's important for me. Well, I started off the year 2023 in the hospital. I woke up one morning and I couldn't move my arm and neck. And it was the worst pain that I had ever had in many, many years, right? I wound up spending the first couple days of the new year in the hospital. I was actually an inpatient. And you know what? I can't do a lot of the things that I need to do right now. I got to go ahead and get steroid injections. I got to go to physical therapy. They want to do surgery and all this other stuff. Now I could sit down and I can woe is me. Or I can say, how do I not allow this to derail me from getting to where that I want to be? I got goals that I need to attain by the end of this month, and I don't know that I'm going to achieve them. So is it woe is me? Should I throw it away? Should I throw it by the wayside? Or do I need to be able to punt and figure out how to come back to this? This is what life is doing. This is what life is all about. This journey of life is not easy. And we've got to be able to do what we can do to make ourselves as successful as we need to be. And this, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to number 5. We have to stick with it. Things are going to happen. You know, you wake up one day, you can't move your arm, you got 3 bulging discs in your neck. I mean, that's what they said. Chris, you got 3 bulging discs in your neck, we need to do surgery. Really? Well, what else can we do? Well, we can do some therapy, we do some injections, we hope they reabsorb. Oh, well, let's do that, because we ain't doing surgery. I don't have time for that, right? Well, that's just me. That's just who I am. But one of the things that we need to be able to do is, regardless of what happens, regardless of what gets in our way, regardless of the speed bumps, regardless of the hurdles, regardless of the mistakes, regardless of the failures, we move towards the goal every day. Why? Why don't we just stop? Chris, you might as well just do some rehab and go ahead and spend a few days and take a month off. And you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to be able to find a way to get through this. I want to be able to achieve what I want to achieve. I want to be able to make the money I want to make. I want to be able to get to the goals that I want to get to. And we'll see what we can do about this medical condition. But if I allow it, I can make all the excuses I want right now. But you know what? Who am I hurting? I'm hurting myself. I mean, you know what? Let's be realistic. Sometimes our health gets in the way. We got to take care of ourselves, right? But this is something that I'm going to power through. But regardless of what happens, once you set down a journey of wanting to achieve a goal, it is vital. It is paramount for you, for your success, that you continue down. Let the mistakes happen. You know, we've been sold this bill of goods that, ooh, you made a mistake. Ooh, you failed. You know what? Name the first thing you ever did the first time that you did great. I mean, how many times did you fail at something before you became excellent at it? This is the way it is, man. This is what life is all about. You're going to go ahead and find things, you're going to do things, and then you're not going to be great at it, right? I mean, we got these stories, but we look down on ourselves because of that. You know what? We need to be able to understand that this is part of life. In my book, Ultimate Leadership, 10 Rules for Success, experience comes from mistakes. Mistakes come from lack of experience. That's rule number 7, right? We need to be able to embrace that, and we need to be able to ensure that we are going to just continue down the path as this happened. You know, you think about it. I was learning a new skill, over the holiday, right? So I want to be able to learn how to do some electrical wiring in my truck and stuff like that. And I got a whole big story of I tried to do this with my Jeep. I was trying to wire some lights on my Jeep, and I wound up blowing 23 fuses before I figured out what I was doing wrong, right? So, I was trying to work on learning a little bit about wiring. This isn't me, right? And I got a book and I got a video and I was still screwing it up. So I was counting, just for the purposes of these discussions when I had with my clients, or the discussion I'm having with you. It took me 12 times before I stopped making the same error and realizing that I was making that error. And I was ticking it away. I was, kind of keeping a little cheat sheet and ticking, as I was making these mistakes. And then by the time I finished and learned how to wire this light that I'm going to put in my new truck, it was like 27 times before I got it right. I made 27 different mistakes, or the same mistakes, until I figured out what I was doing wrong. But this was new for me. I never did it before. And we look down upon ourselves when we try these new processes. Again, name the one thing you ever did the first time that you did great. And usually it takes us some time to get there. All right, finally, I want to give you one more quote. This is one of my favorite quotes. And I want you to go ahead and it's up there for you. I want you to be strong when you're weak, right? We always have those times where we feel a little bit weak. We're not as strong as we can be. Be strong in the face of weakness. Be brave when you're scared. Be humble when you're victorious. But remember to be a badass every day. Remember, this is about you. This is about getting to where you want to be. This is about you becoming the person that you want to become. This is about taking advantage of what's going to, the time in 2023 that's going to get you to where you want to be. I challenge you. Now. Pick up a goal. Pick up 2 goals. Pick up 3 goals that you want to attain this year and do it. And I want you to share it with me. Go ahead and send it to us at the show at ems1.com and let us know what goals you have. And if we can be an accountability partner and help you reach those goals, I'm sure Kelly and I would be happy to do that. And I'm going to speak for him because, I know that he wants you to be as successful as you can be as well. So remember, number 1, go ahead and create that vision, that motivational vision. Number 2, go ahead and use SMART to use and develop your goals. Number 3, put those resolutions in writing. Read them in the morning. Read them before you go to sleep. Then make an action plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever steps are needed to reach that goal. And then finally, in the face of adversity, in the face of any challenges that come up, in the faces of mistakes and failures, you stick with it and you move towards your goal every day. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for today. I want to thank you for joining us, and please let us know of what you got out of it, and let us know the goals that you're going to pick for yourself over the next year. For Kelly Grayson, I'm Chris Cebollero. Go ahead and send us your comments, your questions, your concerns at the show at ems1.com, and we will be here with you again next week. We'll talk to you soon.